Hiya everyone, I am Erica from Erica's Scroggins Jewelry. If you are new here, welcome. I make wire weaving and wrapping tutorials, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, please consider subscribing. And if you are a longtime member, thank you so much for your support. Today we are going to be making a ring setting using this solitaire engagement style ring. You're going to need some 24 gauge half round wire, some 30 gauge round wire, and some 24 gauge square wire cut into 2 4-inch pieces and 1 5-inch piece. You can also use round wire for this. You're going to need nylon jaw pliers, flush cutters, and tweezer nose pliers, and of course a ruler. Starting with the 30 gauge half round wire, we're going to wrap it around the shoulder of the ring. We're going to wrap it around the shoulder of the ring band twice. Your first wrap, secure it with your tweezer nose pliers and just make sure to smooth out any of the ends. Make sure you bring that through a couple of times, and then put a half moon shape in the first part of your pattern. Hold it with your thumb. While holding with your thumb, bring that wire back through your ring band. Make sure this is nice and tight against your ring band, and then bring your wire back through. Do it in the opposite direction and go ahead and bring it through your ring band. And then you'll do that one more time, back through the ring band. So just continue wrapping until you have wrapped this pattern to the other side. And once you're to the other side, straighten your half round as you're going. This helps to remove kinks and make sure that your wire stays nice and tidy. So I always try and do it before it gets the kink in it. So go ahead and put that half moon curve in it. Bring it back through the ring band. And then you're going to do that 2 times on your last rotation here. I'm making sure it's pretty tight because it's the last rotation. Now moving on to the 2 4-inch pieces of 24 gauge square or round wire. I'm going to straighten mine, and I'm also going to use our argentium sterling on one of my rings. There's 3 of them. Okay, begin with your 30 gauge round and the 24 gauge square, and begin to make a single coil until you reach the other side. And we're going to do one 1.5-inch piece and then one 2-inch piece, or one 1.5-inch coil and one 2-inch coil, single coil. Shit. We're gonna do one 1.5 inch single coil wrap, and then we're gonna do one 2-inch single coil wrap. $200 later. So I have my 1.5 inch single coil wrap and my 2-inch single coil wrap. I've done 14 karat gold and Argentium sterling as the base, so that Argentium is going to peek through a little. Grab your 5-inch 24 gauge and wrap using your 5-inch piece of 24 gauge square. Begin to wrap your coil around that 24 gauge square. So you're wrapping just the part that's not coiled right now, and then you're going to begin to wrap your coil around that, your single coil around that. And now this is making a double coil. I'm going to use my nylon jaws just to hold mine, because it can gnaw your fingers up pretty bad, but it is so worth it. To end your coil, you need to wrap the bare wire that doesn't have your single coil wrap on it around the 5-inch 24 gauge piece of wire 2 times, and then you're going to trim it using your flush cutters. I am going to make sure that my ends are nice and snug. Make sure to recycle all gold and silver, because it is really helpful to the environment and the jewelry business. Now, I have both of my coils. You're going to want to make sure that you need to make sure that you have 8 coils on one side and then 10 coils on the other. If you have too much wire or too little wire, you can always add or take away. If you leave your weaving wire on before you end your coil. Now I'm going to use a piece of half round wire just to begin to wrap it in between each coil. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my weaving wire and wrap it around the very last time. And then I'm going to unwrap it, trim it with my flush cutters, and then smooth it down. By wrapping it and then unwrapping it, you're giving the weaving wire a tad bit of memory to being bent that way. So it makes it a bit easier to get it all the way around and nice and tight up against your base wire. I'm going to wrap the bare base wire around the 5-inch piece. Trim it with my flush cutters and then smooth it out with my tweezer nose pliers. Now I'm just going to connect my other coil to the same 5-inch piece of wire. I'm just going to cut that 5-inch piece of wire in half that I connected both coils to, creating 2 coils. Using a piece of 24 gauge half round wire, I'm going to take and wrap it in between each coil. You can do this with round wire or half round, just whichever one you prefer, or you can leave it bare, just as beautiful bare. I will wrap it 2 times to end that wrap, and then trim it with my flush cutters and smooth it out with my tweezer nose pliers. I'm going to measure it up against my ring. Now you should have 8 coils on one side and 10 coils for the other side. So I'm just going to take the tail end wires and bend them out where it looks like a staple. I'm going to put some memory in the tail end wire and then just run it through my ring band with my tweezer nose pliers. I'll wrap that twice. And then trim it with my flush cutters and smooth it out with my tweezer nose pliers. I'm going to just push it through my ring band and then trim it and then smooth it out. On the other side, I'm just going to wrap it around my ring band 2 times with my tweezer nose pliers. Now you're going to repeat on the other coil. You can attach it anywhere that you can get that tail end wire through, but I recommend kind of overlapping the two if you can. And then I'll trim it with my flush cutters and then smooth it out. I'm going to take some 24 gauge half round and attach it to one side or the other. You can attach it anywhere, but I'm going to attach mine to the ring band, the shoulders of the ring band. The closer you get it to your setting, the better. And I'm going to run it around the faceted gemstone setting. In the corner, I'd like to put a little loop using my tweezer nose pliers. Now I'm going to put 2 rows of half round on one side, 1 row of half round on the other. A tip for getting the half round to go around your gemstone nice and snug is placing. I'm going to place my thumb halfway on the gemstone setting, and then I'm just going to gradually bend the half round all the way around. And the half round back through the ring band, and I'll do that twice. in your setting. So I'm going to run my half round one more time around one side or the other on this ring. And then I'll connect it, wrap it 2 times, trim it with my flush cutters and smooth that out, and tuck it up under the setting with my tweezer nose pliers. It is named the Yoni Ring, or Yoni Ring, however you say that. And now we have a beautiful ring. I made 2 more that I'd like to show you. One is a dragon eye, and one is a moon and star celestial ring. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial and making these rings with me. These are awesome and you're awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when new tutorials come out, you get notified. Have a great week, everyone.